Listener discretion is advised.
You are listening to Wine and Crime, the podcast where three friends chug wine, chat true crime, and unleash their worst French accents. Oh, God.
Kill me now.
It's Kenyon's hometown episode.
Sure is. We have a very special fan pick brought to you this week by Vivian Bernardo Hauten.
Fan pick, fan research, fan written. This was like the greatest gift.
We stan this fan.
We absolutely stan Vivian. He wants to dedicate this episode to birthday girl Clémentine Turcroix, which is a very cool name that sounds fake.
I don't think it is. And Vivian told me that Clémentine was in France and Vivian is currently in Mexico.
Mm-hmm.
So as they're listening for, I'm just going to say Clementine's birthday, they will be Skyping together and drinking wine together. So happy fucking birthday, Clementine. Clémentine, we love you.
Joyeux
Feliz
anniversaire.
cumpleaños a ti.
So Vivian has selected the topic of French fatales. So basically French ladies who kill.
Yes. And I just want to say at the top of this episode that yes, Viv wrote all my notes. And yes, that is because Viv chose my case and all of our cases.
Yep.
And every single reference for my case is in French. So anything that I wanted to clarify as I was like zhuzhing, I simply could not. I cannot.
Blame
so don't
Viv.
ask me any questions
Blame it
at
on the
any
Viv.
point. God bless.
Viv also wrote my notes, and I judged them, but I had an advantage in that I was able to watch a documentary that was in French while in the bathtub in order to get my head wrapped around this case.
Oh my God, do you speak French?
Oh my God. What? Oh my God, do you not?
No. Kenyan and speaking French is the nard dog going to Cornell of our friendship. Wait, where did you go to college?
I sort of speak French.
Yeah, Lucy's French is pretty good.
I took it through college.
Hey,
I wouldn't say
am not
papier-mâché.
ashamed.
I know.
Well, you're the smartest one of the three of us. Let's just put that out there.
We all
It's
have
fine.
different skills. I'm not very street smart.
She's got a lot of books crammed in there. And a lot of looks crammed in there.
Can't really tell time. Not a great
Cannot
driver.
use an analog clock. Cannot to save her life.
And I know a
whatever.
lot about decomposition, but I have very limited social skills. So no one's perfect.
You want one all together?
The three of us
Do you want
combined
to picture
into
all of you together? I can do that for you.
I can provide. The three of us combined into one person would be like one fairly well-rounded person.
Yeah.
Yes. But individually,
A mess.
We have our gaps.
we stumble along. It's fine.
fall into the gaps.
Anyway, I'm going to be obnoxious about the French in this episode, and I don't care.
That's
Yep.
fair. I
I'm
think that's
prepared
fair.
to tune out.
Because
All right.
Viv is French and Clem is also French, so
Viv and
I think
Clem.
they would appreciate it.
Yeah.
Viv and Clem, soups, totes, appreciate.
So I'm personally gonna let it slide as much as I possibly can for this
Go
episode.
for it.
All right, Amanda, what is our wine crime pairing for French fatales?
Oh my gosh, we're rocking some delicious vino today, provided by our friends and lovers at Wink Wine Club. Which, if you are a lover of Wink Wine Club, you already know that it's an online wine club that delivers wine directly to your door or your local Walgreens right across the border because they can't deliver to you in Kentucky.
Exactly.
But, you know, that's the spot to pick up your
Wink
butt
order.
pillow for when you have really bad hemorrhoids and your wine for when you have really bad hemorrhoids. If you are not familiar with Wink, you should head to trywink.com/gals. That's TRYWINC.com/GALS for $20 off your first box. They're amazing. I highly recommend becoming a member because then you get member pricing and they like get to know you and they make recommendations that like auto order for you. And it's just stuff you already know you're going to like.
And you can just feel like a real accomplished, put together adult because you have a wine subscription.
A stocked bar of wine.
Yeah.
And it has saved me so many times, so many forgotten birthdays.
Oh, yeah.
Where I'm like, oh, I got you a gift. It's this very exclusive wine.
Not that we do housewarmings anymore, but like back when we did do housewarmings, it was always a Wink wine. And the recipient was always like, oh my God, I haven't seen this. It looks so beautiful. Thank you so much.
We're going to be catching up on so many gatherings that we haven't been allowed to have. So I'm just like keeping a reserve for all the gifts I haven't been able to give for the last year.
Cellar.
Yeah, hard same. My bar overfloweth. But you can also order from their website a la carte. So check it out either way. It's amazing. And today we are featuring a fine French offering from Wink called the L'Atelier de Sud Viognier, which means like the Southern workshop.
Yeah.
I looked that up.
The Southern, studio, workroom, something like that.
Studio. Yeah.
Viognier is an awesome. Well, I will say when I put it into Google Translate, it did say the Southern Workshop, not studio. But maybe that's just a difference in how they call it.
It can be workshop.
Yeah. Whatever. Either way, I don't fucking care. Viognier is a delicious, full-bodied white wine. It originated in the south of France. So that makes it the Sud de France. It's kind of adjacent to Chardonnay in that it's like a pretty robust white that is sort of like fortified enough to stand up to oak aging. But when you don't oak age it and you don't like turn it into a Chardonnay, you're going to get some more delicate kind of floral aromas. You'll have hints of aroma. It's going to have hints of vanilla. It's going to have a little bit of a creamy mouthfeel, but not like the Chardonnay, the granny Chardonnay in the way that we know it. You're going to get a lot more.
So correct me if I'm wrong, but I think I had a Viognier that was aged in stainless, and it was very similar to like a Pinot Grigio.
Yeah, it's going to have some of that acidity. It's a little more floral than Pinot Grigio, but you're still going to get some of that like tangerine, peach. Like it's very easy drinking.
It's a nice bottle.
It's a super easy wine to pair because it works really well with like spicy and buttery foods because it's acidic enough to like cut through those flavors and cleanse your palate. But you could also totally have it with like an unseasoned chicken breast and it would make everything taste amazing. Like I love Viognier. It's a great go-to white.
Okay.
I know that there are some of our listeners who might be inching toward an unseasoned chicken breast, so I just want to be inclusive.
Have you seen that meme where it's like the 4 horsemen of the bad cook apocalypse and it's like salt, pepper, garlic powder, and like lemon? And I was just like, oh God, me.
Yeah.
Rice. That's not a bad chef. It's a lot better than not using those things.
That's true.
I would say that's a basic chef.
Yes.
Right.
I would agree with that.
Right.
She's medium bodied. She finishes nice and dry, uses vegan winemaking. This is a low sugar wine, which I also love. She clocks in at 13.6 ABV and she's a popper. So grab yourself a nice pop wine key from our online store, wineandcrimepodcast.bigcartel.com, and dive in to this little beauty.
Yeah. It's a really pretty bottle. It looks a lot fancier and more expensive than it is.
That's accurate. This one, this is $14 for members, $16 for non-members. It's like that member pricing is clutch when you're ordering a lot of wine, let me tell you.
It adds up.
All right, are we ready?
Ready.
Here we go. Oh, je ne sais pas.
Bien pop.
Yeah, that was nice.
La vie en pop.
Viva la pop.
I also am drinking from a goblet because it's been that kind of
A
day.
Joblé.
A Joblé?
From a Kentucky Derby glass.
Oh, how cute is she?
I want
Love
those
her.
glasses. I'm drinking out the can because
Yep.
what else is new? I got a White Claw.
Show them your candle. Your candle.
Oh, my candle. This is a
No.
scented soy blushing amber.
That's not what I meant.
What did you mean?
The candle I got you as a gift.
Oh,
God.
this is blushing amber.
So this is a candle that's in a White Claw can.
Mango White Claw, her
White
favorite.
Claw, my favorite. I was like, oh, okay. Blushing amber from Target. No, this is
My God.
this is a White Claw candle Amanda got for me.
That's
it's really
cute.
cool.
I
got
need you to
little
light it
mini
at some point.
White Claw dog toys for my cousin's dog.
Oh, that's cute.
Claw, White Paw.
I am concerned with how easy this wine is going to be to drink.
Yeah, you're going to go through that whole bottle.
Yeah, it might happen.
So, Lucy, what is our background and maybe psych for French fatales?
This is blushing amber. I'm such an idiot. Okay.
Oh,
Anyway, I'm gonna
you are
bounce back.
so excited.
Oh, okay. It's my favorite Target candle of the moment. It's heavily scented,
Oh,
and I'm okay with that. Okay, so I'm going to start with a little tribute email from Viv to Clem. Well, from Viv to us, but about Clem. Here we go. Dear gals, I'd like to dedicate this episode to Clémentine Turquois, who's been my amazing friend for 15 years and the person who introduced me to wine and crime. Gateway Gal. Gateway Clem.
I love it.
I'm
I'm going to go drain the Clem.
Ew. On the day this episode airs, which will be March 11th, 2021, I will be celebrating Clem's birthday by Skype, listening to this episode with her and drinking red wine. Or maybe a Viognier, just saying. So let's all raise a glass to Clementine, Clementine, and wish her a happy birthday. Clem is an amazing human being to everyone she knows and one of the most loyal people I have known in my life. I'd like to thank her for all the parties, the crazy evening conversations we had when we both lived in Paris, the nights when she got me home drunk and she made pasta at 2 a.m. so I didn't have a hangover the next morning.
That's a good friend.
Yes, she's the best of us. And for making me feel good about myself when I am feeling small. Oh my God. Clem, can we be friends too? Yeah. I love you. And because it's her birthday and because she's the best, I'd like to treat her to her 2 favorite cases to be told by the Wine and Crime gals.
What a good gift.
Yeah, I like that.
And of course, one more for you gals who have made a great podcast that's interesting and funny and covers many topics from the different tiers of necrophilia to Elvis impersonations and human sacrifices. Thank you, gals, and I hope you'll enjoy these 2 cases with love.
Cheers.
Oh.
Thank you, Viv. That was so sweet. Happy
Santé.
birthday, Clem. Cheers to you. Santé. Salte or Santé?
Santé, you stay.
Santé means health.
Ah, yes. Santé. Sangre.
Okay.
Nailed it.
Anyway.
I'm assuming.
Okay, so before I start with my section, a little note that I want to say about Viv, because we follow each other on Instagram and we DM not infrequently because he's so interesting and he's so fucking adorable.
He's
The cutest
so cute.
human person
I just like talking
to ever
to
live.
him. Okay, so Viv does work with the Pangea movement, which organizes volunteer cleanups in ecologically sensitive areas all over the world, like in Indonesia, Kenya, Colombia, and Mexico, to name a few. They've cleaned up a ton of trash. They just go to the beaches and the rainforests and the jungles and the areas, and they just pick up garbage, and it's all volunteer groups, so it's very
awesome.
important work. They're funded primarily through the sale of their bamboo towels, which are super fast drying, absorbent, and made from all renewable and sustainable materials. So check them out at pangeamovement.com. Nobody paid me to say this. I just think it's important. Check out Pangea Movement. Also, if you are interested in helping out with this, Viv encourages anyone who's interested to connect with him on Instagram, and it's at Vivien Joder. So that's
Nailing it.
VIVIENJODER. Vivien Joder.
Vivien Joder.
So cheers to you and your team, Viv. Thank you for helping to lead the charge against our climate crisis. You are doing the Lord's work. God bless.
This is great. So for each towel that you buy, they collect 2 pounds of trash.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Also, bamboo textiles are the fucking best.
Yeah, bamboo's great. And it grows so fast.
And it's super sustainable and renewable. Also, if you do any like traveling, camping, things like that, I feel like quick drying absorbent towels are not a thing that you normally think of. Like my mind immediately goes to paper towels, but like that's not great. So yeah, check out that pangeamovement.com for some more information, because this is just a really cool organization and they're doing really, really important work. And Viv posted a picture yesterday about him just like playing with lemurs. Not that that's advised, but like they're in nature. They're cleaning up these things. They're like really doing.
Hey, every once in a while, a lemur's going to check you out.
Yeah, they're
What are you going to do? Say no?
Exactly.
They like to climb. They're very gentle.
So follow him, if only for the lemur photos. Okay, anyway. So first, I want to talk a bit about the French legal system so that Amanda can have a nice little nap.
Yeah.
God bless it.
So this is from aboutfrance.com. That's about-france.com. Unlike English-speaking countries, which use a system of common law, France has a system of civil law. And we've talked about cases out of France before and like their judicial system. And I know that we've all been like, what the fuck? Like, how does this fucking work? It's insane.
I don't understand it. And I
am from there.
No, but
Your hometown.
I spent a year in college there and signed up for a French legal class because I had to take something, whatever. And
that was your weightlifting requirement. Also, just throwaway class.
Which turned into your geology requirement, which was really fucking difficult. I thought it would be an easy class, but it was. I got a D.
I took that my sophomore year and regretted it as well.
Yeah.
Well, I was thrown in. I'm still learning the language. I'm thrown in to this class with all people who are pre-law. Like, they're going to be French lawyers. And also they just like have the knowledge of like the basic knowledge that they have about their own court system that like I don't fucking have.
They are French.
They're French. And I was in this class just like, it's like you understand vaguely.
The words?
Yeah, exactly. Like you understand the words, but like
it's the concepts where we fail.
It's like if somebody was learning English and like their English was pretty good, but then you were just like, oh, well, you know, Brown versus Board of Education. And everyone else goes, oh.
I hate the color brown.
And you're just like,
Brown sounds boring.
Going down to Browntown, am I right?
Yeah, it was really, really awful and overwhelming. And I had to stand up and give a report once.
Oh my God. Well, even
terrible.
words like the word for judge and the word for magistrate at least mean completely different things in the French legal system.
Yeah.
Like you can't even count on simple translations to help you understand the system because it's not the same. It's
not
super
the
not
same.
the same.
Yeah, there was lots of legal jargon that I was like, I could translate this into English. And
I still won't get it.
But I don't know
wouldn't
really
help.
what that means. I mean, at the time, I also was young. I like didn't know what the word norms means in terms of like legal jargon, like establishing norms.
Right.
I didn't
Like
know that
precedences.
yet. Yeah, but like I didn't know that yet. I was young.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, it was scarring.
It's complicated, and I'm going to do my best to give a very like glossed over synopsis of this because I
am already glossed over.
I
Let's do
started
this.
to try to understand it, and it's
And you failed.
not. I failed.
That's okay.
I got bored, and so I failed.
Same.
Okay, here we go. I'm just going to get through this quick. Don't ask me any questions. Here we go.
Done.
Common law systems are ones that have evolved over the ages and are largely based on consensus and precedent. So that's what we are used to. Civil law systems are largely based on a code of law. So worldwide, common law forms the basis of the law in most English-speaking countries, whereas civil law systems prevail in most of the rest of the world, with the notable exception of many Islamic nations and China. In line with the democratic principle of the separation of powers, the French judiciary, although its members are state employees, is independent of the legislative authority. So it's independent of the government. The French judiciary is separate from the government.
Yeah.
Yes. The basis of the French legal system is laid out in a key document originally drawn up in 1804 and known as the Code Civil, or the Code Napoleon, or the Napoleonic Code. There we go.
Got it.
Which laid down the rights and obligations of citizens and the laws of property, contract, inheritance, etc. Essentially, it was an adaptation to the needs of 19th century France of the principles of Roman law and customary law. The Code Civil remains the cornerstone of French law to this day, though it has been updated and extended many times to take account of changing society. There are other codes, including notably the Code Penal, the penal code, which defines criminal
My favorite
law.
code.
So they have a civil code and a penal code that are very different in the French
Books
system.
of laws. Yeah.
Yes. Unlike the English-speaking countries, most of them, France has a dual legal system. One branch, known as the droit public, or the public law, defines the principles of operation of the state and public bodies. So that's like community laws, like not applicable to individuals. So this law is applied generally through public law courts known as les tribunaux administratifs. The other system, known as droit privé, or private law, applies to private individuals and private bodies.
This is helping a lot. 12 years later.
I'm glad.
And in
it's
English.
helping you.
Like,
And
I
all
can
you had to
picture my
Google-
notes, but nothing was going in.
All you had to Google was French legal system. And this is the first thing that popped up.
This was 2008.
We had Google, but
We had Google, but
True.
maybe it wasn't as good as it is now.
Well, I'm happy to be able to help at least one person throughout my segment. Okay, that's enough of that. I'm bored already. So here are some fun facts about France.
thank God. Fucking thank God.
Amanda can wake up now.
I was never awake in the first place.
Okay. The camera phone was invented in France in 1997 by an enterprising Parisian called Philippe Kahn. The first photo he took was of his newborn daughter, Sophie, which he sent to his family and friends.
What a waste.
Aw.
I mean, aw. What a waste of a first pick.
His family gets it, and they're like,
His
what is
first
this?
pic was of his dick,
There it is.
which he sent to family and friends.
That would be more believable.
He probably tested it with his dick
Yeah.
and then just really ironed it out before
Then that's
taking a
not the
picture of
first
his
pick.
newborn
I'm
baby
getting.
daughter.
I was robbed. I've been lied to.
Speaking of being robbed, France has won the most Nobel Prizes for literature.
Oh,
Since French writer Céline Prudhomme won the first ever prize in 1903, the country has taken the accolade a further 14 times, although the USA and Great Britain come in second with 12 prizes apiece. So France has won 15 times total.
wow.
The winning writers include Jean-Paul Sartre, who won the prize in 1967,
Old Sarter.
but he declined it, and he described his reasons for declining the prize as being both personal and objective.
Wow.
So both.
Spicy.
Many.
Yeah. He didn't,
All.
I have
he
reasons.
didn't like it.
Did not like that. Don't like it.
France is the most popular tourist destination in the world with some 89 million visitors annually.
Wow, that's a lot.
I was surprised that is the most popular tourist destination
Right, I would
in the world.
expect like a tropical destination to win that spot.
I would expect New York City, if I'm being honest.
A lot
But
of
New York's kind of small.
Chinese folks now are, can travel more easily, have more disposable income, whatever. So tons of Chinese tourism into Paris, more and more as the years go on.
More than to the Mall of America. Did Mall of America come second as the most visited tourist location in the world? Because if it didn't,
Probably.
I have letters to write.
Probably, yeah. I have not been to the Mega Mall in at least a decade.
Oh, it's a hellscape.
Well, go to
But I
Rainforest
want to
Cafe.
go to Rainforest Cafe with you guys.
That is really fun. The mall is only fun when you're going to Rainforest Cafe at like 2 p.m. on a Wednesday when
and then
nobody's
you get
there.
like a buzz off of your blue curacao cocktail
Yes,
from
and then you
said
get the
and then
Rainforest
buy
fuck out of
Cafe.
everything
there.
in the gift shop.
Right. Hit the gift shop, then get the fuck
You
out.
buy
of
the
there.
novelty photo,
Yeah, I did. It's on my. We've been over this.
and then you go to Nordstrom Rack and blow like $300 on
We
shit
didn't
you
do
cannot
that. I was proud of
return.
us. We only went to one store. It was like
Yeah, I
that New
forget
York and
why
Company
we
or
had
whatever
to go-
store.
Oh, no, we
We
didn't
were
even
looking for
have.
pants.
Yeah.
Loft?
No, it was like
Oh,
New
go to
York and
Loft.
Company or something. But we were looking for. Isn't that where we got the pants with the zipper, the miracle pants?
Yeah,
Yes.
the miracle pants.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to talk about it. I've been jealous for 2 years. Here we go.
Really good pants.
France is the largest country in the EU with a land area of 547,000 square kilometers. And if you extend the parameters to include all European nations rather than just those in the EU, then France comes in third behind Russia, obviously, and Ukraine. So France is fucking big. France is
She
like
thick.
bigger than
Yeah.
it seems. But yeah, she's thick. She's a big hexagon right in the middle. It is unlucky to turn a baguette upside down in France. And there are a number of different origin stories linked to this superstition, but most likely, and my favorite, dates back to medieval times. When an execution was scheduled in town, legend has it that the executioner himself would not have time to pop into the bakery before work.
Very
So
important.
The baker would therefore reserve his loaf by turning the bread upside down. Thus, turning a baguette on its head came to be associated with death and misfortune.
There's an execution coming.
The executioner's baguette.
There
I
is a
love
death
that.
coming. I know, right?
Spoopy and perfect.
Somebody write that novel.
Right.
The Executioner's Baguette. Somebody self-published that novel.
Oh my God, I'm so into it. It's also like, could be
It's
like
a
kind of
very smutty romance
could
novel.
be erotica.
Baguette can mean a lot of things.
baguette.
Oh yeah. Oh my God, I cannot wait to read
Turn
the
that shit upside
Executioner's
down.
Baguette romance novel.
Hide the baguette.
Oh. Flip the baguette.
Or butter it up, if you know what I mean.
I'm so now. I just really want a baguette.
I'm
I
so
know.
hungry.
Starving. I just ate. I am starving.
Now that like the fever of winter has broken, I'm somehow eating more than ever. Like hibernation, it's not an excuse anymore.
It
I'm
never
just
was
a
for
glutton.
me.
I'm just
I
a
eat
glutton.
this much year round.
Well,
Proud of
I
it.
need to start moving my body more often. Anyway,
Never again.
the croissant was actually invented in Austria and
Shut
was
your
called
whore mouth.
You can't have it, French.
it was
can't have
called
it.
the Kipferl. Kipferl.
You can kip that fact.
Well,
I want it.
I got a couple more that you're not gonna like. Kilts originated in France, not Scotland.
I like that.
And some say that French toast isn't French at all. A humble innkeeper in New York, USA, named Joseph French, forgot the apostrophe when penning his creation.
Instead of French's toast.
So French's toast became simply French toast.
I love that. I don't care if that's
is
not
easier
true.
to say than French is toast.
Yeah.
It might not be true,
I
whatever,
don't care.
but I
It's
like the
perfect.
story. French's toast. We got French mustard.
French's
All kinds
mustard.
of French shit that isn't actually French. But they have French toast in France. They just
Oh,
call
sure.
it pain perdu.
American toast.
No, they call it
Freedom fries.
They call it lost bread.
Why? Where'd it go?
I don't know. It's lost in the egg, I guess.
Yeah, it got lost into some eggs and some butter and some
lost
powdered
in
sugar.
my mouth.
Yeah.
That's where it's lost.
A 1910 law forbids couples from kissing on train platforms. I don't think this is still a law. It's because during that time, they had all of those like black and white romance movies where everyone's like kissing romantically on the train platform, and it was like literally slowing down the train schedule.
Creating traffic.
Yes.
Oh, that's funny.
So I don't think it's a law anymore, or at least it's not enforced. But it's at one point they were like, y'all,
Stop.
Enough.
enough.
We will arrest
Everybody go read the executioner's baguette at
Yep.
home.
you in the tub where it's meant to be read.
And last but not least, this is a shout out to our good friend Viv. As of 2016, any unsold but edible food must be donated rather than thrown away, or else you can like be fined.
We fucking need that here. It's so ridiculous.
We have so many laws against
Yeah.
redistributing food.
Like cities will shut down community refrigerators. Like it's madness. I understand.
in
Yeah.
Texas after the recent freezing and then flooding crisis, the winter storm in Texas, weren't there stories of like police guarding dumpsters where like grocery stores had thrown out food that was going to expire because they like
I wouldn't
lost
be
electricity?
surprised.
Yeah, I didn't see that, but it would not surprise me whatsoever.
Yeah.
Actually, this was so sad. One time, what was I throwing out? I think I was working at my previous job at that publishing company, and we had a photo shoot, and I ordered lunch, and we had a bunch of leftover but untouched tacos from Corey's, the restaurant Corey was working at for the taco place. And they were still all wrapped up. Nobody had touched them. There were probably 10 of them. And there was a camp of housing insecure individuals down the street. So I got in my car and had this box of tacos, and I went down there and I flagged down this woman, and I was like, "Hey, I have all this food. It's still hot. Can you use this?" And she started to like take it. Then she goes, "Wait, is it poisoned?" And I was like, "No, it's not poisoned. Like it was for a work
That's
lunch.
exactly
My company
what a
paid for
poisoner
it."
would say.
Well, she said somebody dropped off food recently, and it was either rotten or it was like I don't know if it was intentionally poisoned,
But
but
they may
like
have gotten food poisoning
her
from it.
perception was that taking free food from a well-meaning stranger could be very dangerous to their health. And that just made me so sad. And she took it, but she was really, really wary of it. And that was just really sad.
And it's important to be like cautious of especially pre-prepared
yes, of
food
course.
that you
Yeah.
receive. And that's like the blanket. This is why we don't do with from restaurants and but even like groceries with, it's like it's absurd how they've taken that quote unquote public safety law and turned it into really just another form of like food oppression.
Yeah.
I think the way that it works in France too is that grocery stores, and I don't know about restaurants, but grocery stores have to donate it, and then there's like a government contracted company that comes around, collects it, probably sorts it, and then redistributes it, so then they can say like, okay, this really does need to be thrown away, or this is still perfectly fine.
Yeah. But even that costs it's very time consuming. It probably costs a lot of money, and it's very time sensitive for cases like fresh vegetables and fruits and things like that. So
Only cut certain budgets to allow for things like that.
I know.
in our communities.
I'm not saying, hey, we could easily implement that in the U.S. Like,
No,
it would
it's
clearly take some
complicated.
redistribution of funds, but
Right.
my God, we waste so much motherfucking food. It
Food
drives
waste
me
is a
insane.
huge problem in this country. A huge, huge, huge problem.
Yeah. So anyway, that's my segment. A little bit disjointed, but
I love it.
Whatever. All right. So, like we said, Viv wrote our cases.
God bless.
God bless you.
Thank you so much, Viv.
I zhuzhed a little bit, but for the most part, it's follows Viv's narrative.
Narrative.
Narrative. All right. July 1985. Nancy, département de Meurthe-et-Moselle, France.
Okay.
I hate this already so much.
Actually, I'm not going to lie. Kenyon's over-the-top French accent is a little bit comforting to me.
It's probably soothing.
I'm going to play Mahjong. That's how I'm honoring Kenyon during her case.
Mahjong.
Meshel.
55-year-old Bernard Etier, a divorced dad and foreman in a chemical plant, has been missing for weeks and is still nowhere to be found. His adult daughter, Patricia Etier, hasn't heard from him since June
Patty.
Patty
88.
Patty 88.
Ever heard of her?
Patty.
Pat. Oh, Jesus Christ, Patty, go get
Patty.
me my tools.
Go get me my tools.
Hey, Pat, where you been since June 22nd? Did you get my smokes?
So,
You weren't at the meat raffle. We're worried about you.
Haven't seen you out on the lake.
Is the pontoon needing repairs? Haven't seen you on the lake.
oh, I know, that pontoon gas is so expensive.
Oh my God. When the
Oh.
tune needs a tune up, money doesn't grow on trees,
She's acting up again.
All right, so his adult daughter, Patricia, hasn't heard from him since June 22nd. Whenever she goes to his house, she finds it empty, and there are no signs of anyone having recently been in it.
Don't like that.
But there's one strange clue. An anonymous caller, a man, had recently telephoned Bernard's girlfriend, a woman named Monique Nuss. The caller cryptically said, Bernard won't be there this weekend, but don't worry, he's fine.
Let's throw a party. It's weekend at Bernard's. He's fine. His sunglasses are on.
Weekend at Bernard's. We'll just put him in a Hawaiian shirt. No one will know.
Yes. Dance him around.
Other reports said that the caller said that Bernard was never coming back. So I don't know which is true, but both reports indicate that the caller was saying he's alive, but he's not coming back. Don't worry about it.
And
Either
this was
way,
on
suspicious.
This was on Patty's machine, right?
Yes.
Not Bernard's machine.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So understandably going out of her mind with worry over her father's inexplicable absence, Patricia goes to the police and tells them something fishy is clearly going on, but they don't take her seriously. Basically, there are really strong protections in France for like if adult people want to
Go away.
disappear
Yeah.
from their
Let him
lives.
go. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And so they were just like, whatever, he's a 55-year-old man. There's no
Nothing we can
signs
do.
of a struggle. Like, he can
Let
do
him
whatever
go.
he wants.
Mm-hmm.
Je sais pas.
So instead, she turns to the press for help in getting the word out. She publishes a wanted notice for her father in the newspaper L'Est Républicain, and it works. Some information starts coming in. Neighbors declare that they witnessed an argument take place in front of Bernard's house on the afternoon of June 22nd involving his ex-lover, a widow named Simone Weber.
I love a suspicious
Simon
widow.
Weber.
Simon Weber.
So this
Patty
was
Hetier, or what is it?
Hattier.
Hetier.
Patty Hattier.
Patty Hetier and
Simon,
Simon
Weber.
Weber.
Simon
The
Weber.
lady. Lady Simon Weber. So that was the last time anybody heard from him that same day.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. So, Bernard and Simone had started dating in 1981 after meeting when he was hired to mow her lawn, if you know what
That's
I
what
mean.
they're calling it these days.
And that joke
Wow.
was written in by Viv.
Love that. He gets us. Fully gets us.
Will you flag every time it's one of Viv's original
Yeah.
jokes?
Please do.
Yeah. So he was hired to do this lawn work and some DIY work around Simone's house. They start dating. And Bernard was pretty hot, actually, if you want to go take a look at the pictures on the drive.
Bernie's.
Okay, I still had the previous episode we recorded open, so just Bret Michaels flashing on the screen.
Their love affair didn't last long, however. After about 18 months, he broke it off, citing Simone's paranoid, jealous, and violent behavior.
I'm sorry. Are we looking at the same picture?
Yeah, I thought he was
The one
pretty
he
cute.
doesn't have eyebrows?
He has eyebrows.
Is it the black and white of him doing this?
Yeah.
That's a... Oh.
He's angular.
The chin is alarming.
In my brain, I finished these notes while on a pain pill for my back.
Okay. That
explains some
tracks.
stuff. Yeah.
That tracks. Okay.
Because he kind of looks like one of those old drawings of like a witch where like the nose and the chin are both the same length.
Yeah. His
But
nose
with a very
and his
clean
chin
haircut.
go out to the same. His hair is wonderful.
Mm-hmm.
And his
Anyway.
cheekbone, yeah,
If
his
you close
facial
one
structure
eye
is
like
good.
Kenyon and you really squint the other, he's very cute.
And if you take a pain pill, he's hot.
Yeah. So
He
anyway.
fucks.
I see it when I do this.
So he doesn't like Simone because she is a wackadoo. And since then, Bernard had moved on, and like I mentioned before, he was now seeing his new girlfriend, Monique. But Simone had not moved on. Indeed,
Uh-oh.
after the breakup, she began stalking Bernard. She would use
Somebody come get her.
She would use various cars and disguises to follow his every move, and would even write in a notebook tracking the hours when he left the house, when he returned home, where he went, who he saw. Full on stalking.
All the important stuff. She's a journaler.
Yeah.
It's full ass stalking.
Oh,
That's
this is
so
horrible.
alarming.
Yeah.
Oh.
Bernard even told his relatives, including his daughter Patricia, that he was afraid of Simone and that once she'd even tried to drug him.
Ooh.
And I don't know if the drugging had happened while they were still dating or after they broke up. I don't
But
know.
it happened.
But it happened.
Doesn't matter. Not
Yeah.
great.
Mm-hmm. So he was afraid of Simone. And of course, now that he had this new girlfriend, she's extra pissed. She's ramping up the threats even more. So finally, the police begin to pay attention to the case and take a closer look at Simone.
No one ever fucking takes like cases of stalking or abuse from binary women against binary men fucking seriously.
Seriously, yeah.
It's so frustrating.
Yeah, and the
We're
way-
just as capable. Maybe it's statistically less likely, but we're capable of fucking you up.
Oh, and also there's like tons
Fatal
of
attraction.
there were tons of assumptions about her given her age, and she was like in her 50s. And so there were all the police people were like, oh, this elderly grandmother, this frail.
She's 53.
And she does, I mean, it was the 80s, and I feel like people, it's like the Golden Girls thing. Where like,
Everyone looked so matronly.
yeah. So
You
she
can't tell how old anyone is.
She did look older, but at the time she looked her age, I guess, if that makes any sense.
There's a picture of her on the drive.
Yeah.
Yeah. She is definitely an older woman.
Yeah, but she doesn't look like frail grandma.
Well,
No,
that's
she just looks like a lady. She's just
Yeah.
a lady.
A woman.
well, all the police were like referring to her as Granny, basically.
Okay.
They were like, oh, this, vieille mémère and all this stuff. So, police finally begin to pay attention. They take a closer look at her. Their suspicions are raised when Patricia and a few other witnesses reveal even more damning information about Simone. Worried by his disappearance, Monique, the girlfriend, sent her adult son to Simone's apartment to question her and poke around.
Ever
Because-
speak to me or my adult son ever again.
So Monique, obviously, Bernard disappears. she knows that Simone has been stalking him. She also
Right.
knows that Simone would recognize her because
Sure.
she's been stalking them.
So she can't go confront.
So she can't confront her, so she sends her adult son to go confront her.
And or she doesn't want to be the one to go there.
Right.
Either way, she's
So-
playing it safe.
She sends him. His name is Didier. He goes. Simone actually, I think, let him in, and he like looked around and said that like the floor of the kitchen was flooded with water, but other than
Don't like that.
like he didn't like see anyone or anything.
It's creepy.
It's creepy. But then he noticed Bernard's car was parked nearby. And then when Monique went back a few hours later to like see for herself, the car had been moved.
Sketch.
Mm-hmm.
Simon moved that car.
Simon
And-
says, move that car. Move that bus.
And it would be months before the car would be found again.
Uh-huh. So it was hidden.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It
Oh, yeah.
wasn't just moved.
We will get to it. Then Bernard's employer received a medical leave form in the mail, ostensibly sent from him, but just like sent in the mail instead of him like,
In person.
right.
Mm-hmm.
And it was signed by a doctor all the way in Paris, which is several hundred miles away and not his like regular doctor. And then more suspiciously, it listed the wrong social security number for him. So like the form is
Not adding up.
and it like wasn't his handwriting. Like the form is just
It was
Clearly
fake.
fraudulent.
It was a fake
Yeah.
form.
so the employer like immediately sends it to the police, which is the right thing to do. And then investigators found out that the man who'd attended the doctor's appointment in Paris didn't
Def not
match.
him.
Def not Bernard.
There's
Didn't,
no way.
Didn't match his physical description at all. Was decades younger. Was like in his like 20s.
It's Bernard's adult son.
So soon they managed to identify that impersonator as Pascal Lamoureux, and this is a Viv joke. That means Pascal the lover in French. And this guy is
Why would you name your child that?
well, Lamoureux
Pascal
is his
the
last
lover.
name. Like
Oh,
the
but
lover
still,
is this
I
man's
don't-
last name.
Oh, I don't like that.
Yeah.
Okay.
He's also really gross looking.
Pascal in Animal Crossing is cute, though.
He's very wise.
So this impersonator, Pascal, was Simone's nephew.
Oh, it all
Okay.
connects. Her adult nephew.
Simon
Her adult
the
nephew.
lover. Got it.
Everyone's an adult. There are no children in this case. They're just
I
all
know, it
adult
just always
children.
Amanda
makes
just
me
likes
laugh.
to talk about
My adult son. It's just something so
yeah,
funny about
there
it. I
is.
don't know why, but I love it.
Another Viv
It's
joke.
like saying he was my husband by marriage.
Right. Exactly.
All right, under questioning, Pascal sang like a bird.
Yes. Canary.
Sang like a canary, admitting that his Aunt Simone had approached him and asked him to impersonate Bernard at the doctor's. She told her nephew, her Pascal,
Her adult nephew.
her
My
adult,
adult nephew.
She told her adult nephew that it was like, fraud. They were like helping Bernard, pass off a medical fraud from his employer kind of thing.
Okay.
And so the nephew was like, okay, I'll do it. He probably got paid something to
Right.
do
So
it.
she didn't tell her adult nephew that Bernard was definitely dead at this
No.
point.
Right. No.
No.
He's an accessory to her
Yeah.
bullshit.
Yeah. And then Simone's neighbors confirmed the police's doubts. They'd witnessed a man entering Simone's apartment back around June 22nd, but they never saw him leave.
Roach Motel. You check in.
You don't
You don't check out.
Later that
You
night,
check in, adult nephew.
Your adult nephew does not check out.
Later that night, the same neighbors and Viv wrote, "Get a life."
Okay, that was my first My first reaction when you said the neighbors saw someone entering the apartment but never saw him leave.
It's like, why are you watching so closely?
Yeah, why are you peering out the window like a weirdo?
Yeah.
Well, it's a good thing they did because we get a lot from the neighbors just watching her.
God bless a nosy fucking neighbor.
Yeah.
I'm picturing the neighbors who lived across the street from Amanda's house in, not Tamarack, the other one. Weeblerville. And you had neighbors across your cul-de-sac who just sat in their open garage on their like woven folding chairs all day long.
Why not?
All day long. It's a cul-de-sac. How much
Bless
is there
your
to look
nosy
at?
neighbor. They're going to solve your murder one day.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
And she
I said hi every time I drove past.
There
They
it
didn't
is.
know who I was.
in an apartment building too, and these older apartment buildings, there's no fucking noise cancellation. There's
headphone.
no there's
so
no like
everyone's aware.
insulation between floors. Like it's
They
all
you
creaks.
hear everything.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay.
So later that same night, the same neighbors heard some really weird sounds coming from her apartment, which they described as like a vacuum cleaner that doesn't move. So it was like a sound, but it stayed in one spot. It wasn't like she was vacuuming her apartment.
Oh, like one of those carpet cleaning fans. Like one of those fans that go under your carpets.
Could be.
Okay.
Then a light in the apartment lobby was turned on in the middle of the night, and Simone was seen by the neighbor through the neighbor's keyhole.
God
Nosy
bless.
bitch.
Okay, that's a little far.
I'm a nosy neighbor too.
Oh, yeah.
Don't be keyholing.
Oh, wait. Can I tell a quick anecdote? I
Of
might have
course.
already told it. This was pre-COVID. I was waiting for my friend to pick me up. We were going to go see a movie, and I was dressed in my coat that was like it was black, and it's like down to my knees, and I'm sure I was wearing black leggings and black boots because I wear black, okay? And I was
sue me.
eating... Actually, no, I had just been to a movie. I was waiting for someone to pick me up to go do something else, but I had my leftover movie popcorn paper bag that says like popcorn in like the cartoon movie. Like it's clearly a movie theater popcorn. Dressed head to toe in black. I think I was like watching a Dr. Phil clip on my phone, which was just sitting on my coffee table, standing by the front door, totally dressed and ready to go. And I was eating my buttered popcorn, and I was standing next to my big front window. And I was just in my own world, and I was watching my neighbors across the street because they were standing in their front yard and they were talking to each other.
Just eating popcorn while you
And
spy on your neighbor.
I was standing in the front window just eating popcorn out of this movie theater bag, dressed all in black in my big front window.
Oh my God, yup.
And then I wasn't thinking or whatever. My mind was elsewhere. And the next thing I know, there were like 5 of them. It was like my neighbors and their parents. And they were just looking at me. And I was like,
Enjoying the show?
I have no idea. I've never spoken to them. These are my neighbors on the corner. They're very quiet. They mind their own business. I have never spoken to them. But yeah, that's the only impression of me they've ever gotten. That was like 4 years ago.
So they think you're an absolute creep, but really you were just trying to get a little sunshine and have some goddamn popcorn.
I just was unaware that anybody else could see me. And I just looked like the Grim Reaper just eating popcorn.
The
looking at them.
winterized Grim Reaper.
Yeah.
Okay, so this lady peeks through the keyhole and sees Simone in the middle of the night taking out around 15 trash bags from her apartment down the stairs through the apartment building and out.
No one has that much trash.
Mm-hmm.
Unless you've killed a person and dismembered them.
Mm-hmm. So Simone's neighbor later told police that the trash smelled like blood and, quote, it smells like when women have their period.
Nope.
And Viv,
No.
just wrote, eek.
That would be blood. There will be blood.
Oh. Also,
Good God.
period blood does have a distinct aroma.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't think it means what that person thinks it means.
I've never smelled like a full bloodied dead body, but when it comes to period blood, it's very iron rich. It's clearly been like in the body. It's like mixed with other things. You know what I mean? But I feel like if you were to kill and dismember someone, it'd have a very similar odor.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Feels correct
Similar.
to me.
Yeah.
So-
Disturbingly accurate.
Obviously, we have a lot of damning circumstantial evidence, but we don't have anything concrete tying her to the disappearance. And without a body, it's tough to prove murder. So, Gilbert Thiel, nicknamed the sheriff, was designated as the judge in the case. But like Lucy said, judge is different than how we have judges, and it's kind of like more of like a prosecutor type, like a public prosecutor role.
The judges are more like lawyers, from what I understood.
Yeah, he like gets to make decisions about the investigation, it sounds like.
Yes.
So he authorized a duo of police officers to follow Simone at all times. I've listed their names, but it doesn't matter. In a later interview on the French TV show Faites entrer l'accusé, which means bring in the accused, the police recalled that they'd had a hard time following Simone because she would notice them and would, quote, make drastic U-turns or stops like thugs who want to show the police they know they're being followed. And I don't usually use the word thug, but that's what it was translated to.
Mm-hmm.
And disturbingly, later in their investigation, the two police officers said that they felt somehow stalked by Simone. Like, while they were trying to follow her, she would, like, flip it around and follow them secretly.
Oh, that's really fucking creepy.
Quote, she reversed the cat and mouse game by disappearing and ended up following them back.
Oh, nope. I don't like it. Nope.
No. Yikes.
So a little background on Simone, and there will be more later. Weber was her maiden name, but she'd actually been married twice. Once when she was in her 20s to Monsieur Thuot, with whom she had 5 children and then divorced, or at least separated, I don't know. And decades later, a much briefer union to Marcel Fixard, and we will get to him later.
Pixar.
Yeah.
Up.
So while police are tailing her, she starts using various aliases, including her past married names. She also uses different vehicles and apartments that she has access to, like her sister's. It sounds like her sister, I could be wrong about this, but I think her sister had like mainly lived in Cannes, but then also had an apartment in Nancy. And then, I don't know, she had multiple apartments in this area. As well as payphones around town, which like she had a telephone in her apartment, but she's like sneaking around.
If you use a
using
payphone, can't track those calls.
So the judge in the case authorizes a broad-ranging wiretap of her and her sister Madeleine's home phones.
Tap that.
Mm-hmm. During a conversation with Madeleine, she says, quote, "Here are the right numbers for the lottery." And then she lists off a bunch of numbers.
That's code.
But the numbers weren't accurate for the lottery winnings,
Yeah.
you know, that week. Or
And
whatever.
also, that just sounds stupid.
Yeah.
Here are the right numbers for the lottery.
Yeah. And the police find out that it's actually a number for a phone booth in the city of Cannes where her sister lives. So she was telling her to like call this phone booth or call from that phone booth.
Yeah. Little code.
Yeah. Investigators then analyzed the conversations from the phone booth. And even then, it seems like the sisters are communicating through code. So they were able to trace those calls and tap those calls from the phone booth.
Dang.
And they said things like, quote, "Please bring Bernadette to school and pay for her pension."
Bernie!
Bernadette.
I love it.
Bernard.
Like,
Bernadette.
that's a really good code name for Bernard. They're never going to know what you're talking about.
The police in Cannes begin tailing Madeleine as an accomplice and witness her, poorly disguised, going into a real estate agency under the alias Madame Chevalier. Chevalier
Fantastic.
means like knight, like a
Like cowboy.
Chivalrous.
Yeah. There, she rented a residential garage spot in like a nearby residential complex. They had like an interior parking garage, and she rented the garage spot under an alias. And police finally discover Bernard's car parked there.
Okay.
AKA Bernadette.
Right.
And it was hidden away, and it had a false license plate on it. So they really tried
Yeah.
to cover their tracks, but like couldn't really nail it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You know,
it's harder than it looks.
It is hard to completely get away with murder, let me tell you.
Let me tell you.
Boy, have I tried.
Believe you me.
So even with all the evidence against them, Simone and Madeleine, who have always been extremely close as sisters, and we will get to it, are holding firm, denying everything. While Madeleine is under arrest, the police carry out a search of her house in Cannes and find, poorly hidden under her bed, Bernard's passport, car keys, and other belongings. So she's like hidden his shit around her house.
Mm-hmm.
Madeleine tries to excuse this away by saying that she was doing him a favor holding on to his car for him while he traveled.
Okay.
Because
and
of-
changing out the license plate.
Holding on to your car.
I always just pick up and leave in the middle of the night and turn to my ex-girlfriend turned stalker's sister
For assistance.
on the other side of the country to watch my car for me.
To conceal my car with a lot of effort.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God.
This makes no notes.
Yeah, so she doesn't have any answers for why she
Flawless.
used a false name to rent the spot,
Right.
why she hid his stuff in her house, or why she had
Change
a fake
the
license
plate.
plate.
Yeah.
Which, like, where do you get a fake license plate?
She printed it, laminated it,
Yeah.
popped it on there.
Crap.
Well,
prayed.
if I've learned anything from what are the Vin Diesel movies? You know, your
Fast
favorite
and Furious.
Fast and Furious. You just go to the dirtiest looking garage with the most awful like halogenic light bulbs.
And then Ludacris is there, and he helps
And
you.
Ludacris, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Nice. Okay,
That's how
cool.
that works.
Then more shit hits the fan.
Of course.
Simone's cousin tells police that he is the one that called Bernard's girlfriend Monique the day after his disappearance, saying that he was fine but not coming back. And the cousin indicated that he called under Simone's orders and probably was also paid.
Mm-hmm.
Another clue that the police find interesting: a chainsaw in Simone's car.
Casual.
Girl, tone it down.
Relax. Yeah.
Chillax.
Which she'd rented on
Oh, no.
June 21st.
You
Nothing
rent
like a rented chainsaw to cut up a body with.
a
The day
rental
before
murder
he went
weapon.
missing.
No.
You did it.
This bitch is dumb.
Confess. You did it.
Then she declared it lost a few days later, so she never returned it. And two chainsaw blades were missing, and we will get to it. So could this be the vacuum that didn't move? That neighbors had heard? Because it's like a like loud
Mhm.
sound.
A chainsaw, though. It's like, "Rear, rear, rear."
I don't know. I don't know
Maybe
what
a small
vacuum
one.
sounded like in 1985.
That's true.
True.
A search of Simone's apartment reveals a cache of various types of official government stamps. For example,
Well-
she had like an official stamp from the Strasbourg town hall.
Oh, not like mailing postage stamps, but
No.
like notary stamps
Yes.
and shit. Okay.
Yes, for like official documents.
That's
She-
not good.
She also had blank forms from various doctors' offices that she'd clearly like pinched.
That's not good.
Mm-hmm. She also had a gun with a silencer,
Well, that's
And-
not good.
dynamite,
Oh, that's really not
Girlfriend.
chainsaw, stolen notary stamps, stolen doctor's
Dynamite.
pads,
You know
gun,
what?
silencer,
I feel a
dynamite.
lot better about my Google search history after hearing of
She's a
this
doomsday
bitch's
prepper.
actual items in her fucking
good.
apartment.
Yeah, that's a wild grocery list.
don't have a silencer. I don't have dynamite. I do have a chainsaw. But there's no blood on it.
You're a homeowner.
I don't have a chainsaw. I have a shop vac. I have an axe.
Mm-hmm.
A hatchet.
Okay. So obviously, investigators begin digging more into Simone's past.
I have a hatchet. I have an axe. I
have
an ice pick.
Well,
I have bleach.
I have golf clubs,
Black
do laundry.
trash bags.
You gotta take your trash out.
various kinds of duct tape.
Yeah.
I
not
I
illegal.
also have various kinds
None
of
of
duct
this
tape.
is illegal.
My duct tape has
I
puppies
have
on it.
bleach.
It's
I have large
circumstantial.
quantities of bleach.
It's circumstantial.
okay.
All of it.
So, obviously, investigators begin digging more into Simone's past and they make some shocking discoveries. Her life was, let's say, tumultuous.
Oh, good.
Okay.
Her parents divorced when she was just 4 years old, and in a very bizarre arrangement, even for the time period, she and her older sister, Madeleine, were sent to live with their father, while her two brothers went to live with her mother.
So they split them up?
They split the siblings half and half.
By
Half
gender.
And then sounds like the two sides of the family had no contact with each other after that.
Oh, that's rough.
Oh, that's sad.
Well, messy.
Probably
Yeah,
not
it's
recommended by
Not great.
child therapists.
Nah, great.
But because of that, probably, Simone and her sister grew incredibly close. They were inseparable. They were each other's confidants.
Mm-hmm.
Comfort object.
Yes, they had imprinted on one another. I'm sure Simone looked up to Madeleine as like a mother figure. They were me and Lucy.
Sorry,
Oh, God.
each other's transitional objects.
So the two sisters even went on to marry a pair of brothers so that they could be sisters and sisters-in-law.
Okay, we didn't do that.
We did not do that.
That's
Yet.
crossing a line.
We definitely. It's only because
We didn't meet two cute
Corey-
brothers.
Corey's one was already married and the other one was too young at the time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's why.
And Zach only has a sister, so
It wasn't meant to be.
we definitely imprinted on each other, though. That's for sure.
Can confirm.
Are you my mother?
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Will you be my mother?
Okay, Ish. Stop. I will leave.
Will you be my father?
No.
All right.
Sure, you can leave anytime.
Go ahead. Try.
I hate that. Just try to leave. See what happens. Go ahead.
What's
There's
stopping
the door.
I really hate this.
you? Okay, so
I am in fear for my life. I'm
Amanda's
looking
our
for my
hostage.
chapstick. There it is. My comfort item.
Yeah, your comfort item.
okay, so this was
Your lips are getting bigger with each layer.
yeah, they are.
Oh, they're so oily. Okay.
They're wet. I over-applied.
So this was Simone's first marriage that I'd mentioned, but it wasn't a success. She described her first husband as, quote, mediocre, fickle, and alcoholic.
Ouch. Fucking harsh, dude.
I mean, been there.
And she left him while raising their 5 kids. So she tried various entrepreneurial ventures. None of them worked. She's broke. She's kind of just floundering.
Heard
So
that.
So she begins to try her hand at being a scam artist.
Okay.
It seems like it was going
that.
really well, too.
She fakes a PhD in philosophy and tries to be a professor.
Of all of, oh my God. Okay.
She fakes a caregiver diploma to like work in like a care home, which is terrifying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nope.
Yeah, I can't. This woman deserves her own full podcast. So then tragedy struck twice.
Oh.
One of Simone's daughters died unexpectedly at age 16 of a, quote, overdose of cough syrup. And this happened while the 16-year-old was at her school in the nurse's office.
So this wasn't like a scissor situation.
Well, no. I think this was a very much before scissor. She was like at the nurse's office.
I know, but like, you know, nowadays you hear of an overdose of cough syrup. It's like, oh, because someone was trying to get fucked up, but she's at her nurse's office. That's weird.
Yeah, I don't think she was trying to get fucked up. But, and very few sources mention this, but I think it's fucking a wild fact. Simone was at the school at the time of the daughter's death. She was there for a parent-teacher conference.
What?
Oh my God.
That's
of
weird.
Course.
That's weird.
So she wasn't in the room when the daughter first started to like obviously be really ill. But then as she was like dying, somebody like ran and got Simone, and she like ran to the nurse's office and was there for like the death.
That's weird. That's weird. That's too weird.
I think so.
Yeah.
So then one of her sons, adult sons,
My
was
adult
22.
son.
Sorry, I shouldn't laugh. I was laughing at Lucy laughing.
You can't just hit me with adult son while I have
It's so
White
good.
Claw in
It
my
slaps
mouth.
every time.
So
It's comedy gold. My adult son.
the best part is my son, my adult
son.
You catch yourself.
So her adult son died by suicide under suspicious circumstances while he was away
God.
completing his military service.
Oh.
But again, she wasn't technically there, but who knows? Also, maybe he did die by suicide because he had been raised by this absolute psycho of a woman.
Yeah,
You know?
maybe.
Simone has said in interviews that the deaths of 2 of her 5 children had a tremendous impact on her, which, like, obviously they would if she could feel. But she staunchly denied that they caused her to lose her mind.
Questionable.
Police had their doubts about the death of another man in Simone's life before Bernard, her second husband, Marcel. So Marcel was a widower with no children who had put an ad in the newspaper looking for a female companion around his age. And Simone, then in her 50s, answered the ad, and the two struck up a relationship. This was only a few years before she met Bernard.
Okay.
Just a few months later, they were married in a secret ceremony. Secret even to Marcel himself, who was unaware that the
That he was
ceremony
now
ever took place.
A husband.
Indeed, the police discovered that Simone had hired an extra to pass off as Marcel during the courthouse ceremony, which took place 100 kilometers away.
This is literally what Bill is going to force me to do because he is way more introverted than me and I want like a 300-person wedding.
Yeah,
So he's going to show
force
up to
you-
like sign the paperwork and then a hired stand-in, an actor, will be there for
Yeah.
the rest.
Someone's adult son.
Someone's adult son. I love this bitch. She's crazy and I love her. I mean, I hate
You
her,
should
but
hire,
I
like-
love her.
You should hire like the polar opposite of Bill to be his stand-in, like a really tall, like black woman with short hair.
I'm
'Cause
not going to do that.
Bill is the opposite of that.
I'm just going to do what
But not
I...
say anything to any of your guests. Just be like, Bill, it's our special day. I love you so much.
I'm just going to get a cardboard cutout of him and tape it to a Roomba so that he just floats around the whole night.
It would mingle way more than Bill would ever mingle.
100%. And we all know it.
Oh, yeah. I was going to say to do like a GoPro like on his face so he could interact, but no, he'd be much happier just alone.
Hearing about it later. You come
He'll be-
home after your wedding and he's
Yeah.
just been home cooking.
How'd
Oh,
it
yeah.
go?
Hanging out with like 3 of his friends. That's his
Max.
ideal wedding night. Yeah.
Max.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm ready. That's fine. It's my party. He can do whatever he wants.
I'll be your stand-in. I'll kiss you on the mouth.
So many people will kiss me on the mouth. I'm covered there.
So then, just 3 weeks into their nuptials, again, which he was never made aware of, the previously healthy and athletic Marcel died, and his wife on paper, Simone, inherited all of his assets.
Yeah.
Was he
3 weeks.
ever
Wow.
made aware that he was married?
Doubt it.
No, why would he be?
Yeah,
Why does he
why
need
would
to
she
know?
tell him and fuck up her plan, which
I'm
was
just saying.
to kill him and
just
take his money?
Yeah. And
I love
friends
her.
and neighbors of his were suspicious at the time because Marcel had never indicated that they were married, and I don't even think they were living together. They'd only been together 3 weeks.
And then all of a sudden she's getting his fortune.
Or a few months, I guess. And then
'Cause
all of a
legally
sudden
they're
he
married.
dies out of
Yeah.
nowhere, and then she inherits everything, and she's like, P.S. we were married. And they're like, since when?
Yeah, who are you?
This
Yeah,
is so ballsy and
New
bonks.
wife, who dis?
Yeah. But he didn't have any children to like contest it, so it just
Right.
got swept under the rug.
Wow.
And she got the
See?
fuck away with it.
He was
Wow.
a cherry, if you've seen I Care a Lot, which is really good.
Oh, that's such a good movie. I told you guys about that on our group chat.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
So-
Care a Lot on Netflix. Check it out. It's
It's
fucking gross and awesome.
So he died supposedly of a heart attack, but now that Simone was being investigated for the murder of Bernard, police got permission to exhume Marcel's body and test it for poison. And they did find some evidence of a drug called digitaline in his system that could have caused a heart attack, but it had been like 6 or 7 years since he died, and the remains were just too degraded to like say conclusively.
Hard to confirm.
Yeah. And she had a fake prescription for the drug digitaline in her possession.
I mean, yes, a lot of that is circumstantial, I guess, but like it should be enough.
When
like
there's
you did it.
enough circumstantial
Yeah,
evidence.
in the States, that would still be enough to bring it to trial.
I'm
So-
Googling digitaline overdose to see. Digitalis?
That's a boner pill, I think.
well,
You think
maybe
everything's a boner pill.
Which boner pills, like we've talked about, that
can cause a heart attack I
because they
guess.
were like originally made as a heart medication. So
I think it's all the same grouping
probably all the same
because
shit.
yeah, digitalis, it's the same. It's from Foxglove.
and as we
Yeah.
learned from our fartaceutical crimes,
Pharmaceuticals.
how they all get their names from like the same shit.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't
so
know.
it's not even worth looking up.
So obviously this bitch did all of this, but
Yeah.
they still don't have conclusive proof. No body. They can't
No
find
crime.
the bloody trash bags. Somehow there isn't blood in her apartment, although there were signs that it had been scrubbed. And maybe this was before luminol. I don't know. On September 15th, 1985, while Simone was being detained, a fisherman on the Marne River noticed a smelly but new suitcase
Ugh.
bobbing in the water.
God. Is that new ad copy for away luggage?
Smelly,
but
but
new.
new suitcase. What a weird description. I'm
Like
here
it reads
for
like
it.
a corpse, but it didn't look like an old shitty
Yes.
garbage suitcase.
Right.
I get it.
I get it. I
It's just
just
a-
am loving this succinct fucking description. of it.
Smelly but new.
Smelly yet new.
Yeah, smelly yet new. Inside is stuffed with trash bags that have been taped shut. He does the right thing. He like fishes it out of the water, calls police. They open the bags to reveal a human torso,
Hello.
Obviously.
which they
Shocker.
identified as belonging to a man in his 50s.
Named Bernard.
So I wrote, this is a terrible joke, but I wrote, literally a dad bod.
Oh, God.
Anyway.
Oh. In poor taste. And I like it.
It's my type. I'm
yet
not going to
I
say no
like
to a
it.
dad bod.
They don't have DNA technology, and it's in a different part of the country, so it takes
The good old days of murdering.
It takes 9 months for police in this area to connect the remains to the Bernard Etier case.
Wow. That's
Once-
a long time to clean up your tracks.
Yeah.
Once they do, though, Patricia recognizes the suitcase as belonging to her father, and forensic radiology confirms that the remains are his. They also find on the stone that was used to weigh down the suitcase traces of blue paint that matched the exterior paint of Simone's house.
Ooh, that's damning.
Very forensic files.
The fibers.
Finally, they have enough to charge Simone with Bernard's premeditated murder, and she is detained during the judicial investigation, which lasts 5 years.
Minutes. Oh.
One of the longest in France's history.
Wow. That is a long trial.
Because they knew she fucking did it, but they didn't want there to be any chance of her getting off.
Right.
So she's detained through the whole investigation, which is unusual, but the grounds were that the judge felt that she could destroy evidence or try to intimidate witnesses if released, because a lot of the witnesses were relatives of hers, like her nephew, her cousin, her sister, whatever.
And she also had basically done all of those things already, so they had reason to believe that she would if she were out.
So
maybe not intimidation, but all the other cover-up shit.
She's a crazy. She could do anything. She's capable of anything. So her defense team is enraged that she's been detained so long. They pull all kinds of media stunts. It's like a huge fucking media circus. She then goes completely off the rails and burns through 25 different defense attorneys. She
that's a lot.
Fires each one in turn because she doesn't trust them.
And as far as I know, lawyers and attorneys work the same way in France as they do here, so that is as bonks as it sounds.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. She eventually asks to defend herself in court. She has no legal background. I don't think this was ever allowed, but journalists were so excited, She refuses any plea deals. The trial begins in January 1991, 5 years after Bernard's murder. She's charged with 13 crimes: first-degree murder, poisoning, forgery, theft, illegal possession of explosives, illegal possession of weapons, destruction of evidence, and license plate forgery. There are 18
to name a few.
18 witnesses, 15,000 documents, 60 different expert testimonies. It's a huge it's like the OJ trial. It's a huge fucking thing. Throughout, Simone would give interviews where she referred to the judge as her little chick. She was so
really
weird about the
condescending.
judge.
Yeah, that's a level of confidence mixed with condescension that is never good.
And she would disparage prosecution witnesses, calling them sluts, tramps, or alcoholics.
Okay.
Cool.
It's painting a really accurate picture of this woman.
She seems great.
A real peach.
In response to witness testimony from her neighbor, Simone retorted, "As you've all been able to see, Madame Haig spies on people."
Well, yeah. What else is she gonna do?
I know, but she's annoyed, which I just love.
That. Well, because she's calling her out for murder, basically.
Yeah. So on February 28th, 1991, after the jury deliberated for just 11 hours, after this huge long trial.
And they were just sitting back there playing cards to make it look like they were really deliberating. They're just smoking, drinking.
Yeah.
We know what's up.
Simone Weber was sentenced to 20 years in prison for the murder of Bernard Etier. Somehow, the charges had been dropped down to a crime of passion from premeditated murder, which I do not know how that happened, because she literally rented the chainsaw the day before he disappeared and then did so much to cover it up.
That the chainsaw detail is proof of premeditation, period, full stop.
Yeah.
What the fuck were you going to use that chainsaw for? She didn't even have a house with a yard. She lived in an apartment building in the city.
Yeah.
So she was acquitted on murder charges for Marcel, even with all the evidence they had, because they just couldn't
pin it.
Simone's sister, Madeleine, for her passive participation, was sentenced to just 18 months in prison.
Wow. Okay.
Shockingly, Simone, sentenced to 20 years, served 8.
Yeah. Great. Perfect. My case is kind of like that, too.
I'm guessing they counted her pre-trial detention as some time served, so it would be 13. Because 8 plus 5.
And I mean...
okay, but...
Because of... We'll obviously get to it in my case, but something similar. In my case, it's like the standard for release on good behavior must be very different.
Also, some people are gonna be good in prison,
right?
Because their MO isn't random chaotic violence. Their MO is being
like
a
hurting
scam artist.
people they love or something like that. Yeah.
So why? I just don't know why that's even like a factor.
I'm also confident in saying that us as American citizens have a very different perceived threshold of like a fair prison sentence because of our prison industrial complex, blah, blah, blah. So like, it's easy for us to be like, oh, that's not long enough. But like in most of the world, actually.
But she's been free for over 20 years. At the age of 70, she was released in 1999. She was released. She lived with her sister in Cannes. Her sister died in 2016. As of 2020, she's still alive.
Oh, she is?
Yeah. Talks to the press all the time. Gives interviews.
Loves the spotlight.
Loves
she's
the
on
spotlight.
France Has Talent.
Yeah.
Prancing with the Stars.
So she's
Prancing with the Stars.
She's 91 years old on Prancing with the Stars.
Yeah.
This
Living
is
her
impressive.
life. Isn't that crazy? And 70, I feel like you could still absolutely commit more of these exact same crimes at the age of 70 as you could at 55.
Centenarian crimes, or whatever the fuck it's called.
So anyway, that is the case. Thank you so much, Viv. This is one wild ride.
I love it.
Mm-hmm.
Nice work.
Yeah, nice work,
to you
Viv.
and Viv.
Here we go. Like I said, don't ask questions. Here we go. December 13th, 1988, a series of trash bags are found in various places. It probably was. Are found in various places in the city of Tours, France, containing unidentified female human remains.
Bernadette.
No elements of identification are left on the scene, and the head is completely missing. There's no clothing, there's no jewelry, no papers, like no ID card, nothing.
I know you said no questions, but as far as you know, is this one person's body minus the head?
Okay. It's one person.
Okay.
When all the body parts that they could find are found that day, the medical examiners are putting the body back together to search for clues to identify her. And at the autopsy, the examiners noticed that the body was cut by what could only have been like a scalpel, because it was so clean, like professional.
Like some Black
it had to
Dahlia
have been
shit.
a medical tool. It was not a rented chainsaw. They also find in the victim's blood traces of neuroleptics, which is a potent tranquilizer, and another unknown medicine. So, desperate to find the identity of this woman, the police requested public assistance to identify the body, providing the information that they knew about it. The operation is a success, excuse me, because 4 days later, they receive a call from a woman who identifies this cut-up person, as Francois Gendron. The woman had been missing from her home for several days, leaving her cat at home. The cat didn't die, but was very hungry when they were found.
Okay, as long as it
The police take fingerprints from Francois's home and compare them to one of the hands on the body, and lo and behold, they match. So several people are interviewed, including a guy named Yves, who is Francois's boyfriend, who had told investigators that Francois had stood him up like a couple days ago. It was like a night before she was noticed missing, and I'm not sure if she had been officially reported as a missing person. And like I said, all of this research has been translated from French. There's literally no way for me to know, but like people knew that, like neighbors and people knew she wasn't home.
Right.
So a couple days before, or the night before she'd been noticed missing, they were supposed to meet at her house, but he received a call from a mystery woman. Do you sense a theme?
So similar.
I know.
Yeah.
Who said to Yves that Francois had left to go to a friend's house in Fromentine for a week, which Fromentine, which irritated Yves, but he was like, fine, like, go do your thing. I don't care. I'm just whatever. Mm-hmm. They also interviewed a man named Christian, who was a handyman in Francois's building that made some like surprising revelations. While he was supposed to make little renovations at her flat, he was welcomed by another woman at her apartment while Francois was allegedly taking a bath, which is true. Like, this other woman was there. Francois was in the tub. She was alive at this time. And Francois later told this handyman...
Was she taking a bath?
She was, and she later told this handyman that she had almost died when the friend who answered the door, quote, accidentally dropped a hairdryer in the bathtub while she was in it and the hairdryer was on.
The fuck?
Yeah. So this friend is not great.
Friend, yeah.
Get a new friend. So this mysterious woman seems to be the common thread, of this mystery, and her name is Sylvie Ravier.
Never trust a Sylvie.
Sylvia? Sure. Sylvie? I don't know.
That's an anecdote for another day.
So she made herself known to investigators pretty quickly because she started to publicly accuse 2 men of killing Francois. These men were named Michel and Luc. So Sylvie claimed that these 2 guys wanted Francois gone because she was threatening to report their alleged drug dealing. But the problem is Sylvie was a little too open with like details and motives around Francois's murder and quickly secured herself a spot on their suspect list.
She was trying to help too much.
Yeah, it's like, you're too thirsty. Something doesn't make sense here.
Do you want a picture all together?
Right.
I got it for you.
Back away from me in this Louisville coffee shop, please.
I'm so sorry for invading your space. Thank you for the apology.
Jesus.
So investigators started with Luc and Michel, who were interrogated at the police station while other police were searching Sylvie's apartment. In Sylvie's bathroom, they find 2 dental crowns, not on teeth, not in her own mouth.
Loose.
Just loose.
Classic. Well, in that case, I'm a fucking serial killer.
In her house, they found.
Well, I have human arms
searching your
behind
house
me.
as a suspect in a murder in the first place.
Yeah.
And your dental crowns were not found like amongst blood stains. So like those things combined are pretty incriminating pieces of evidence when you're dealing with a hacked up body and a missing head, and now we've got crowns and blood.
Why do people I guess some people keep trophies, whatever, but like, it's so dumb.
If it would incriminate you in like 1+ murders,
The
then
head
like,
is really weird in this case, and we will get to it. But I think in this specific situation, it was to like keep the body from being quickly identified. But then she was the one who was like, I think it's Francois, but I wouldn't know that. But she's been missing for days.
Right.
well, she might have panicked in that moment. She might have panicked in that moment. Either way,
Maybe.
it's all weird.
There's a lot with the head. We'll get to it. So Sylvie quickly admits that the murder did take place at her house, but staunchly maintains that Luc and Michel are the guilty parties. They're the ones who murdered her. It just happened to be at her house. The problem with this whole thing is that it's bullshit. Michel and Luc have a solid alibi and literally no reason to kill Francois. Like, they knew her, and we'll get to how they all knew each other, but like the story about their drug dealing was completely false. Sylvie made all of that up. It's BS. So the 4 of them got introduced at the club, because it's always the club. So Luc and Michel are like clubbing buddies, and they're clubbing buddies with Sylvie and Francois. And Sylvie and Francois were like teenage girlfriends who had stayed friends. Sylvie and Francois had met in high school. Sylvie was apparently highly unpopular because kids are fucking assholes, and Sylvie had suffered from polio as a child, which left her like somewhat physically disabled. And so she was bullied. And Francois was like kind of a cool party girl, took Sylvie under her wing. And several years later, the two friends like met up again because Sylvie had gotten married, had a couple kids, but then got divorced, and they like reconnected because Sylvie was having this like post-divorce like party awakening, and Francois was like, hell yes, let's go to the clubs together. So they were like club scene gals, basically.
Okay.
Post-divorce, but still young. They're in like their 20s, whatever. No, they would have been a little older, maybe 30s. I don't know. Either way.
Oh, post-divorce, but still in your late 20s, early 30s is
That's a good spot to be.
Yeah, you're gonna get
a good spot to be.
after
You're going
it.
out.
I'm gonna get drunk and fucked at the club.
Yeah. And Sylvie had gotten married pretty young, so her kids were already like 11 and 14 or
But they
14
weren't
and 16 and
adults
stuff. They weren't quite adults, but my
But they
teenage
can
son.
take care of themselves at home.
Yeah,
They're not
they
like
can.
concerned for
so
their
she doesn't need to get a
safety.
sitter to like go out with Francois. Exactly.
She's
So it
out.
all fits. The two had a very strong relationship, or so it seemed. They spent basically every night together, like they were out on the town.
Did they imprint on each other?
Probably, who knows? One of them's dead, so it couldn't have been that strong. a
Yeah,
bond.
the hair dryer.
Yeah. She tried to electrocute her friend.
I forgot about
Let's not forget that detail. So when police finally, clear Luke and Michelle and start connecting more dots, everything seems to be pointing to Sylvie. So she's backed in a corner. She confesses to murdering Francois. And this would be a confession that the police would not soon forget. She confirmed what the handyman had been told, that she did try to kill her friend with the hairdryer, but she failed. So she invited Francois to her house where she lived with her two children, who, like I said, were then 14 and 16 years old. She drugged Francois with Lexamil, which I think is that tranquilizer, and explained to the kids that Francois is just hungover. Auntie Fran just needs a nap. And then the kids go to school, and she put Francois into the bath.
It's a benzo. So yeah, it'll fuck
She's
you up.
out.
Yeah. She put Francois into the bath and pushed her head under the water and let her drown.
Why? Just because she's
We'll get to it.
okay.
So when she believed Francois had lost consciousness, then she takes a scalpel that she stole from the hospital where she works. She's like a nurse or some shit. And clearly did not listen to our episode with Dr. Nandy because she discovered pretty quickly that dismembering a body is actually a lot of fucking work, like physically exhausting.
You gotta break bones.
Yeah. So she gets like a decent way through and then gives up and drags puts the body in parts that she can into bags and covers the rest and like drags her out onto her balcony and just goes on with her day with her kids.
Because they're coming home from school.
Yep.
I'm not going to get this done in time.
Nope.
She's running late. She's me.
Yes.
Just
Well, that's
always
like-
running late.
Just put a blanket over it. You won't see it.
But like classic DIY project, honestly.
Yeah.
You get like a third of the way through it and you're like, fuck this.
Why
I'm
did
gonna
I do
cover it up,
this?
shove it in a corner, and not
Right.
think about it for at least 6 months.
Exactly. So the day after the murder, she visits her mother to ask for some tools that she needed for her son's birthday party.
to rent a chainsaw.
Basically. And she hosted the birthday party for her like 14 or 16-year-old son. I don't remember which one its birthday
Whatever.
is. And like has guests over with Francois's body still on the balcony. Just in bags, like on the balcony.
That is
Oh,
Nobody go
fuck.
out on the balcony.
Right. It's under repair. And people reported that like she was joyful and normal and like not acting suspicious at all at the birthday party. Like totally herself. Fine. So December 15th, it's 2 days after the murder, she finally finishes dismembering Francois's body and leaves the bags in various places in the city and enlisted her son to help her dump the bags
it.
places.
He
Of course.
presumably know what was going on.
He had no idea. The son had no idea that he was an accessory to like disposing of a body. He
Is
had
this the
no
older
clue.
son?
I think so. Either way, 14 or 16, right after a birthday party, he thought he was taking like bags of trash with his mom to like different dumpsters to get rid of birthday garbage. Like, I don't fucking know. He doesn't know any better.
Body's heavy.
Yeah, all the type of weird chores and shit that my mom had me do, I didn't fucking
I don't think
know.
I would immediately be like, I'm going to look in these bags. Like,
No.
I wouldn't fucking question
We had
it.
to go to the dump at various points, and I remember
course.
just like whining because I didn't want
Right.
to go. But like
Exactly.
we went.
Yeah.
So the head was not found among the bags of parts. So she had kept it. And for days, she tried to get rid of it by like, and again, I could not go back and confirm this or translate this. She was trying to like break it down by hitting it with a hammer. Like she wanted to make it into like a pulp that she
Yeah.
could get rid of
Like flush it down the toilet or something.
or something. But this wasn't working for her. So
You have to hit it a bunch of
A lot.
times.
So she was pissed and like markedly every time the discussion of the head came up with investigators, her like calm temper would slip and she would get really mad. So she was like really pissed that she couldn't figure out, like she had to deal with this head and like didn't know what to do with it.
So fucked up.
And finally, in a desperate attempt to just
Whoa.
be done with the head and get rid of it, she took the like as much of it broke down as she had successfully
Managed.
done with a hammer and left it in the oven overnight at 360 degrees Celsius before dumping it in a river in
Wait,
the presence of her
Celsius?
son. Yeah, so real like as high as it would go.
Hold on. That's really fucking hot.
Yeah, but Celsius also like levels off at a certain point in a way that Fahrenheit like doesn't. It's weird.
Still 662. So not enough to burn
Right.
tissue, but that's hotter than my oven will go. That's
Yeah.
really fucking hot.
I don't know. Can't confirm it. It's all in French.
Jesus.
So she puts that in a bag and takes it to dump it in a river. And again, her son is with her. And she's just like, I have to get rid of some smelly trash. Like, that's how she explains that away.
I'm just
I mean,
gonna litter
it
in
is-
this river.
right.
It is smelly trash.
I mean, she's not technically lying.
Smelly but new.
Smelly, yet new. So why the fuck did Sylvie do this?
Yeah. Why?
Yeah.
Sylvie,
Good
why?
question, and you will not be satisfied with the answer because according to Sylvie, she was sick of her friend. That's it. That's
and
the motive.
stop returning her calls.
Like, she felt like Francois made her feel inferior and like less educated or whatever, and she was like over it.
oh my god.
Like, that's it. So the
if
day
I
after
killed
she
Kenyon every time she made me feel like that.
she would we'd have
Wouldn't
so
have a
many
podcast, let me tell you.
so many melted we'd replace Scott would have replaced you. We'd have to deal with a lot of melted heads though.
I got a big ass head, so good luck finding an oven for this
You've got
baby.
a big head. That might have been my main deterrent, if I'm being
and a
The
honest.
lot
head's
of
too
hair,
big.
and it sheds all the time.
That's
You're gonna
true.
get caught. Oh,
You're gonna
That's a
leave way
lot of
too much
evidence.
DNA. You're way too loud.
yeah.
You have your upper body strength is stronger than mine. So it
It's
just
stronger
would've-
than it should be, period. I don't know
Yeah.
how you got that.
I
With
have,
your back?
I have strong legs. You have a very strong
Arms.
torso.
Yeah.
okay.
I'll give you that. But you
Anyway.
would be easy to catch because
Yeah.
not like any of us can run for shit.
Yeah. With my back.
I could catch you because you kind of run
yeah.
like this.
But it's really cute. Anyway, good thing we don't live near enough to you to murder you right now.
When have you seen me run? That's the
It's
real-
a jog. We've seen you speed up slightly to like get to a destination in the airport.
I think it was back in 2010 when we were in China playing soccer.
Oh Jesus!
And
I
then
don't want that anecdote.
previously track in middle school. So
Fair.
like 2002, like 99 was the last
I've
time
only
I've
seen you
run.
at a swift clip in an airport. I've never actually seen you run.
Yeah,
Lucy's the only one
she
with that memory.
runs, but like both feet are still on the ground at the same time.
It's a very
It's just
cute
like
shuffle.
it's an illusion.
It's a Cupid shuffle.
It's an illusion of swiftness, but it's like not. It's no
just going,
faster than.
It's like Kenyon making the sound is not fooling anyone right
Her
now.
her
We can see your mouth moving.
Your fake rushing is no faster than just walking.
It's actually slower because she's doing like the slow motion. I love it. I'm just gonna sit you on an away bag and pull you.
Okay.
That's the
You
way.
need 360-degree spinner wheels for the bottoms of your shoes.
I like it.
roller skates.
For me to, oh yeah,
They make those.
but like 360 roller skates.
Right. I think that's more dangerous somehow, but like whatever, we'll deal with it. Anyway, back to this horrible murder.
She gets a back brace. We could just put a leash on her.
On. So they all declare that Sylvie is like mentally sane enough to continue on to trial or like continue with questioning, etc. And it's that she's actually like more intelligent than usual. Like maybe she has an elevated IQ. It's a sociopath thing. They all notice an unusual violence toward Francois's head in particular, and that she was like definitely taking out a lot of frustration on
Definitely
this
knew the
woman's
victim.
face. Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
But, quote, I was sick of my friend.
Must smash the head.
Isn't much to work with for a legal defense team. So they had to try and craft a defense that, like, would help in any way.
They had to come up with something.
Fucking something. So the something that they came up with was pointing to outside substances that could have changed Sylvie's behavior. And those outside substances would be really the only thing that Sylvie regularly took, and they were diet pills.
Well, those will fuck you up.
They can. So Sylvie's attorneys asked for scientific expertise and attempted to prove that dietary products had an effect on her mental health and that she can't be held responsible for her actions. So there are experts that were called in and said, yes, it's dangerous for like your heart because it's like speed, basically, a lot of these like old school diet pills. Because again, this is the late 80s, early 90s. So this is like,
you can get
what is
any
it called?
kind of diet pills.
So diet pills are meth.
Speed.
Yeah, and it was right around when, God, what was it called? That like very famous diet pill that like some famous person died taking it or something.
I know
but
exactly
anyway,
what you're talking about.
it was basically around, I keep wanting to say fentanyl, but it's not that.
No.
But this expert weighed in that, like, yes, celebrities have died from these kinds of diet pills, that in some cases it can increase like stress and anxiety, like rapid heart rate. It could in some cases lead to dementia, but that detail is really only in people who had like already had certain pre-existing mental health conditions. So it just isn't very likely that that's what Sylvie was experiencing from the medication she was taking. And like, does this exonerate her from her criminal liability?
No, I don't care
loose.
What fucking diet pills you're on. Like, you can't just have a birthday party for your teen with a dead body on your fucking porch.
No.
Not
great.
Is it dentrafenol, the pill you're thinking of? Because that apparently causes you to burn up on the inside.
Oh, God. No, it had a very famous name.
Something.
Something Fedrin, I feel like is right.
Okay, I'll keep looking.
You'll find it. So at this stage in the process, Sylvie claims that she doesn't remember the murder and the disposal of the body, which, like, bitch, you already confessed. And also, newsflash, diet pills don't cause memory loss. It's like no one's buying it. So the police don't believe this amnesia. Fen.
Oh, Fen.
That's it. And I was trying to remember, my aunt had a dog named Fenway around the time when Fen was like becoming a thing. We used to call him Fen, and I was like, what is this dog? Anyway, yes, Fen.
Really, really not good.
No good. So the police do not believe the amnesia. Again, she provided a full confession. It's like, we're not buying this. And the psychiatrist also rejects pathological or chemical amnesia, though he says that post-traumatic amnesia from stress is a possibility. But as Viv wrote, another possibility is she's a fucking liar.
Yeah, she's a sociopath.
Yes.
Wow.
4 psychiatrists assess her personality as Hystero-Perverse, which from all I could piece together is like narcissistic personality disorder, but considered her criminally...
But if you're a woman...
Right, exactly. But
considered her... hysterical about it.
Right. To be criminally liable, so it's like, yeah, you're fucked up, but you're not fucked up enough to just not be responsible for your crime. And also confirmed that there had to have been premeditation because the bathtub with the hairdryer in the worst game of Clue I've ever played. So the defense attorneys, as well as Sylvie's family, argued that the premeditation was part of her dementia, that she had become aggressive and violent since she had started her diet pill regimen. But they can't bring any credited experts to like confirm that that's what happened. So on June 24th of 1991, her trial started and Sylvie still claimed that she had amnesia. She cries throughout the trial. She's really laying it on thick.
Amnesia.
I know. Like, how soap opera can you get? I confessed and I pointed fingers at other people, but I have amnesia.
don't remember anything.
Right.
Okay.
And the main point of her defense is like the debate over her drug prescription. But the expertise of credited psychiatrists made it very hard to argue that she had like gone completely off the deep end and that she wasn't responsible for her crimes. Various associations were trying to prove that she was not criminally liable, comparing Sylvie's case to like apparently there's another American case where murderers were acquitted of their murders because of a medicine that they were on that had augmented their like psyche. But this just didn't like that precedent didn't apply here. Yeah. So despite the defense's best efforts, the jury sentenced Sylvie to life in prison. But in 2009, less than 20 years after she was sentenced to jail, she was released from prison for good behavior.
Classic.
And she's just out there living her life. Like, very little is known about where she is now, but...
Well, don't become her friend.
Right? That's the thing. It's like public service warning.
Yeah, don't take a bath when she's at your house.
And I assume she's living under a different name. Her lawyer, like, assures people that she lives far away from tours.
Oh, great.
Thank
she lives
you
somewhere.
for that. I'm so reassured. She's just working as a secretary last that anybody knew what she was up to. Just living her life.
What happened? Do you know what happened to her kids after she went to prison?
I'm not certain. But she was divorced from her husband, so I assume
Maybe
they went back to live with him. And since they were 14 and 16, he'd only really be responsible for them for a few years, like get them to finish out school legally.
But still, like, I'd be fucked up if I found out that my mom had me, like, dispose of body parts around town.
Would be very severe. Very severe.
At my birthday party.
Yes. Yeah. That's
it's enough
lot.
that my dad kept a bag of human shit in my garage for our last Christmas party.
I loved that bag.
Forgot about that.
It's an anecdote for another day also.
Oh, you've already told it. It was poop he had to bring down from the cabin.
Yeah.
And he was supposed to get rid of it en route.
That's the gist of it, essentially. Yeah. But it was in our garage during our family Christmas party, and then we went out there for Jell-O shots like every 30 minutes or so and didn't know about it, and it's fine.
Shooting shots by a bag of shit.
We all grew up fine. That was a year ago.
That was like 2 years ago.
It was a year and a half ago. It was the last PFC that we were able to have.
Yep. And that is my/Viv's case.
Well
Love
done.
it.
Thank you. Special thanks to Viv and Clem. Happy birthday, Clem.
Oh, God. Happy birthday, Clem.
Great
Thank
cases.
you so much, Viv.
So good.
Viv, you were so involved. You were
really?
involved.
It was amazing.
Yeah.
Involved.
This was awesome.
All right. Thank you. Merci
See you next
beaucoup.
week. Merci beaucoup.
Bye-bye.